Hello, Governor. Here to talk to you about Doctor Who, Season 9, Episode 8, the Zygon Inversion. But first, let me tell you a story. I had a little buddy of mine that I used to play ball with, and he was good, like really good. Like you could see in high school that he was going to be a D1 prospect, maybe even have the type of talent to make it to the league. But when we got to college, we went our separate ways. He went where he went, I went where I went. I found out in his freshman year that he blew his knee out, like tore everything. MCL, ACL, NBA, ACD, ACD, like everything, all the initials of stuff that you could tear in a kneecap, he tore it all off. I think he just tore the whole patella, tore the whole kneecap off, threw it in the woods, some Lorena Bobbitt type action. If you know, you know. Now, for somebody who's been working towards something their entire life, that is devastating, that you'll never play again, let alone walk. And there's a lot of ways that you can go with it. Some people cannot handle it and they shut down. Because for whatever accolades, praise, whatever it is that you got out of being that guy, that person, now you have to give it all up, and a lot of people can't handle that. And then sometimes you can dust yourself off and try again. Yes, that was a blatant Aaliyah reference. I don't know why I did that, but if you know, you know. The thing is, it worked out for him. He took it hard for about a week, but just his particular mentality was, okay, let's focus on the next chapter. And I always loved that about him. I had that to a degree, but I would take things harder, and it would sit with me for a much longer time. He brushed it off in no time and was like, all right, let's go. He decided he wanted to stay close to the game, so he majored in business, and he opened a business helping athletes reach their full potential. That way he still stayed close to the game that he loved so much. A lot of people wouldn't have had the wherewithal. And a lot of people can't see the hope through the destruction. Let's talk about it. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steed, Noop from the Ville, and we're talking about Doctor Who, Season 9, Episode 8, the Zygon Inversion. And if you have rocked with me for any amount of time, you know that I'm going to do a opening story. I'm going to do a short recap. And if you want to see the full reaction, go into the description and look up an episode this analysis is based on. You can see the reaction between Centel and myself. And then I'm going to give my quotes and get into my personal thoughts, and then we out of here. We're picking up right where we left off, and what we saw was Bonnie, who is a Zygon, and they're shape-shifting aliens. She looks like Clara right now. She had a rocket launcher on her shoulder. She launched a missile at the plane that was carrying the Doctor and Osgood. But what we come to find out is that Clara has awakened inside the little pod where she was being held. And through a little bit of telepathic stuff, she was able to do small parts to control parts of Bonnie. And she caused Bonnie to not shoot straight at the plane. She kind of missed, and it gave Osgood and the Doctor just enough time to jump with parachutes before the plane exploded. Bonnie figured out though, if Clara could control her with the telepathic link, that Bonnie could also look inside Clara's head with the telepathic link. And she found out that the Osgood boxes were in the Tower of London in UNIT's headquarters in the Black Archives. Now, Bonnie is the new leader of the splinter group of Zygons, and they want war with all humans. She wanted to push the button on the Zygon box and expose all 20 million Zygons, have them turn into the real selves, and kind of start a war with the humans. I mean, 20 million versus 8 billion. I don't like the odds. I'm just saying. But the thing is, this splinter group was a small faction. They did not speak for the whole 20 million. The vast, overwhelming majority of that 20 million didn't want no parts of this. They just wanted to live their life in peace. Now, Kate Stewart is the leader of UNIT. She was down in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. She had a run-in with the Zygons down there. They tried to take her out, but she survived. And she's the daughter of General Lethbridge. So five rounds rapid, and she's out of there. When Bonnie gets to the archive, she finds that there's 2 boxes, and they're identical except for color. One's red, one's blue. And then inside them is a set of 2 buttons, but it doesn't say which button's which. If Bonnie pushed the buttons on the blue box, one of them would expose all 20 million Zygons, or it would make their human forms permanent. Now, Kate Stewart had the red box, and if she hit her buttons, one of them would destroy every Zygon that's on Earth, or kill everyone in London. The Zygon boxes were put together to assure peace, because either way you went, it would be mutually assured destruction. One of the things that this episode is so good for, Peter Capaldi is the 12th Doctor, gives one of the best speeches ever. And I know it's a TV show, it was written for him, and whoever wrote it, or there was Moffat or somebody else in the writer's room, they delivered the type of speech that actual people in real politics should watch and study and should make a part of their lexicon. That's how good the speech was. The Doctor admits, the consequence that he had the same choice in the Time War, and he had to make one of the hardest decisions he's ever made. And actually, he was fortunate that he made a decision and was able to go back and remake the decision, because it haunted him. Bonnie and Kate backed up off the boxes because they figured out through the Doctor's speech that the boxes were actually empty. And it's the best way to stave off war. It gave enough time for them to contemplate the consequences and think about what must be done. The Doctor was able to do what he does and wipe Kate's memories. Showed she didn't remember any of this and didn't want to just strike out just because. You never know. Humans, we tricky like that. And because Osgood is like the ultimate Doctor fan, he offered Osgood a chance to be a companion, to come with him, since her doppelgänger, her other, was gone. But Osgood had a surprise for him, and she now had a twin again, Bonnie. Since she gave up being Clara and Clara's back to being herself, Bonnie became the other Osgood. And the thing is, the Osgood that we had left, was she the human? Was she the Zygon? We'll never know. But we know at least one of them, Bonnie, was a Zygon, but she had a new purpose. And that kept Osgood. And not only that, that assured the peace between humans and Zygons. You know that I love my quotes. I only have 2 today. The first one, I'm not sure who it comes from. And it is a lesson for all of us, is that for every loss, there's victory. For every sadness, there is joy. And when you think you've lost everything, there is hope. The second quote, you may not know the quote, but you know the person. And it was Martin Luther King Jr. And he says, out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. I'm calling this media therapy deep dive a path to destruction and hope. I talked a while back, maybe season 8, maybe season 7. And there was one where the doctor and Clara were on a submarine, and the ice warrior from Mars woke up. And it was basically mutually assured destruction, which is the only way to keep the peace, is if I got something over you and you got something over me. During the 80s, we had what was called the Cold War, and the Cold War was basically mutually assured destruction. Russia had all their missiles pointed at us, and we had all of our missiles pointed at them. And if anybody got a little bit too froggy, we'll hit the button. But the problem in hitting a button and we go destroy our enemies, we know, well, they got a button too. And by the time we hit the button, because the missiles are not automatic, by the time they figure out that we got a whole bunch of missiles on the way to them, they hit the button, and now we got a whole bunch of missiles on the way to us. And we would have completely destroyed both countries. So it kept the leaders honest. And this, Bonnie and the leaders of this little splinter group were willing to sacrifice everyone for what they personally believed, which is selfish as hell. If your 20 million people did not elect you, they didn't choose you, the unmitigated gall and audacity to say you speak for them and I'm gonna force them out of the shadows, I'm gonna force their hand. They were willing to tear down everything and everyone. Start a war that could have killed everyone, including, there's only 20 million of them and 8 billion humans. Those are terrible odds. The thing is, how do you move forward? Kate Stewart found that, all of the men that went with her, the truth of consequences, were killed, and she was almost killed. And these people were in the final moments of starting a world war. So how do you find hope through that? You have to focus on what you can control. Even for all of the doctors' powers, wherewithal, super knowledge of his experience of being around forever, you can only focus on what you can personally control. And even Kate Stewart, she's in charge of unit, but the doctor had to wipe her mind, just because we humans, sometimes we get that wild hair up there and we get, a little bit like, wait, they're trying to kill us off. Let's kill them all. You have to engage in meaningful activities. And you have to cultivate a sense of gratitude and optimism. Of everything I said, that's probably the hardest one. You may not know what you can or cannot control. You may do some things, and whether they're meaningful or not, who knows? But you being responsible for yourself to cultivate a sense of gratitude and optimism. Some people are just not wired that way, and they're going to be negative for negative's sake. They don't see the glass half full type of people. Their glass is half empty. I was a glass half full for a long time, and then depression set in, and I started to It's amazing how you can focus on the amount of water at the bottom and say, the glass is almost full. And then something happened in my personal world where it came tumbling down, and I started focusing on the top half. The glass was half empty. It's okay to feel. Yes, man, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to feel. It's okay to seek support, seek help. You hear me talk about it all the time. Therapy, prayer, yoga, meditation, sitting in a sauna, going swimming, going boxing, whatever it is that you can do to calm your mind and calm your spirit. And practicing compassion for others, don't forget to practice compassion for yourself. That's where we fall short a lot of times. We're so busy forgiving other people and being kind to other people that we're not kind to ourselves. We don't forgive ourselves. This was an untenable position that Kate Stewart was in, the doctor was in, Clara was in, Osgood was in. Osgood had already taken an L. She lost her twin, her other, from Missy. Another thing is, you absolutely have to cultivate within your spirit the ability to visualize a brighter future. You have to. That's how you find hope, even through destruction. Some people are willing to burn the world down to start over. I heard somebody say in a movie once that what good is it if you burn the world down? There won't be a world to rule. Focus on your potential for growth. If you can do a few of these things, you can find hope after destruction. I know this is not the way that my normal deep dives go, but after the Zygon invasion and then the inversion, really go back, watch the episode and listen to Peter Capaldi's speech again. Because if that doesn't hit you in the feels, if you don't see the point that he was making in that, that's why I don't have to go on for real long, because he said so much. He said it so succinctly in the speech that he gave. It was absolutely phenomenal. This is Rakai Steed, Noob from the Ville. Make sure that you like, share this as much as possible, and please leave me some comments. What did you think about this episode? What did you think about 12's speech? Do we have to tear everything down? Do we have to destroy everything to build something new and better in its place, in the ruins? Or can we just change? For whatever reason, if you haven't left me if you haven't subscribed yet, I mean, of course I want you to leave me a comment, but for whatever reason, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the button. And remember that everything that we do, we use this, but it's just as important to use this.